Welcome into another episode of Sooner Spotlight. Hello, Oklahoma Sooners fans. I know it's been a little while. I've taken a little bit of a hiatus from this channel. For those of you who don't know, I've been covering football over on Oklahoma at the Voice of College Football. So go check me out over there if you'd like to stay tuned in on all things football. I will try to put some football things still on this channel. This was something that I started and have done quite a bit of work on this channel, so I don't want to completely abandon it. I know it has looked that way here in the last several months, but there has been some big stuff in the college baseball world, and so I will dive into that and start to get into that. Today I've got LJ Mercurius with me, and he was willing to sit down and kind of explain his decision to come to Oklahoma. He was a great pickup for the Oklahoma Sooners. He transferred in from UNLV and was a very big pickup for the Oklahoma Sooners, especially to add to this pitching staff who just really lost their entire weekend rotation. So it was very, very big for Oklahoma to land several pitchers, but LJ being one of them. LJ, he's a right-handed pitcher. Like I said, he's out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Spent, I believe, 2 seasons at UNLV, and he had a great sophomore season in 2025. He earned All Mountain West second team honors. He had a 3.57 ERA, 58 strikeouts, and 53 innings. He had 2 complete games across 12 starts, and he's got a high upper 90s fastball, right around that 97 mark. So I see a lot of things that Oklahoma is missing from Kyson Witherspoon now going into the 2026 season, and I see a lot of upside in him. Like I said, I think he's one of the top pitchers in the transfer portal, and I think definitely one of the top pitchers that Oklahoma was able to secure in this transfer portal class. So it was a very good opportunity for Oklahoma to pick him up, and of course he came to Oklahoma for the brand and for the school, but he also wanted to play with his brother Alexander Mercurius, who is an incoming 2025 OU signee, they're joining one of the top coaching staffs really in the country, and Skip Johnson and company. Whether many of you believe that or not, it's true, and even the commits like LJ see that. And, I think a lot of people around the nation see that. But I'm going to go ahead and jump over to it. I had a lot of fun being able to talk to LJ and getting to know him. Enjoy the interview. Sooner Nation, welcome in. I've got the Oklahoma Sooners' newest pitcher, or one of the newest pitchers, I should say, through the transfer portal, transferred from UNLV. I've got LJ Mercurius with us. LJ, thank you so much for joining.
Nah, thank you for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Oklahoma fans are pretty excited to have you on campus. This was a big year for the Oklahoma Sooners. I don't know how much you kept up or how much you saw what Oklahoma did this past season, but jumping into the SEC was big. And then now in the transfer portal, Skip Johnson and company have been working pretty hard to go out there and build up a program. And so obviously you made the cut, and so congratulations and welcome to Norman.
Nah, thank you, 100%. I definitely was following along. Got a couple boys I grew up with, Jason Walk, Cam Johnson. I grew up playing with, so I definitely was keeping tabs, especially like my brother coming here. I wasn't sure what I was going to do yet, but wanted to make sure he was going to the right program. And Skip he's the man. They had the program going in the right direction, and I love it. So it was fun.
Yeah,
fun to watch and keep up.
Yeah, it's good to hear. Yeah, good to hear from you. And first, kind of start off because you're from Las Vegas, right?
Yep. Born and raised.
Is that where you're born and raised? Yeah.
Yep,
all right.
Born
sweet.
and raised.
Kind of walk us through, because I think wherever Oklahoma fans are from, I feel like most of them aren't from big areas like Las Vegas. What was that kind of like? Or what was it like growing up there? And then what first got you into baseball and then becoming a pitcher?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, growing up in Vegas, it's the smallest, biggest town. I guess we say it's very big for others, but for us, it's very small. Everybody knows everybody. Growing up is just pretty much like any other normal kid. Me and my brother spent a lot of time outside, which is crazy. Just because like everybody thinks you live in a hotel. It's like, nah, I have a house and a backyard I play in. But it's cool. We try to avoid a strip as much as possible. I've probably been maybe 10 times in my life, and then I went to school 5 minutes away from there, so I took every little way around the strip I could go. I found a way to get around it, but it was fun growing up in Vegas. A lot of things to do. But baseball, really what got me into baseball is, I don't know, my dad kind of pushed me and my brother to try everything. My dad and my mom played sports growing up, and then really we started off in soccer. My uncle and my dad were good at soccer when they were younger, so we started there. And then that kind of transitioned to meeting some kids that played other sports. So then we started playing baseball, started playing basketball, football, shoot, golf. Really just played everything growing up. And then high school, my first high school, I kind of just like I picked up a couple extra sports in there. Would try to play tennis for a little bit, tried wrestling for a little bit. So we always just grew up around sports, trying new things, just kind of building an overall base. That way, you're more well-rounded as an athlete.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Was baseball just the one that you felt like you were best at, or did you find a passion in
Oh
it that you just
man.
didn't have?
No, I honestly I didn't want to play baseball for a long time. I probably
Oh yeah.
quit about yeah, no, I quit baseball about 1,000 times. I like to say growing up, I'd be there and be like, I can't do it, it's too slow. But as I've gotten older, I thought maybe football or basketball would be my route to being able to play at the next level. I'm 6'3" though, so basketball is off the table. Football, we were into like a fork in the road my junior year of high school where I kind of had to pick between baseball and football, just because they kind of overlap a little bit in the fall. But
Yeah.
I just was like, I'll play baseball, see. So I stuck with that my junior year. And then as I've like continued to play, I've kind of just found more of a passion because baseball is one of those sports where like you're never gonna reach your end goal. It's one of those you're just never gonna be able to get there. And so kind of like what I fell in love with baseball is like all you have to do is just keep trying to get better and better. But being okay with me never reaching like they always talk about potential, right? Like one day you can reach your potential, but like baseball, you can't stop growing. And so it's kind of like one of those things where kind of just fell in love with the process of having to work at it really day. Because at some point in football, you could cap out in size, and that's all you have. You could cap out in how fast, how run, or how fast you run, how hard you get somebody, or like basketball, you're just 6'8" something. But like in baseball, it's like, shoot, you could learn how to pitch and you could throw 80 to 90, and then you're just a really good pitcher, or you could be a power arm, throw 98 to 100. So like just the game itself kind of kept me like kind of keeps me falling in love with it because I've seen so many different dudes that are you might be really small, but you're like you're just as good as me, or you might be even bigger than me and you're just as good, or like shoot, I might be the small dude, and it's like there's so many different variables that play into it. That's just really cool to see and kind of like what I like because like you don't have to be just one dimensional. Like anybody can play it. So I think that's probably
Yeah.
the best thing. So yeah,
Yeah, I like that. And you summed it up pretty well too, because baseball is just a really
yeah,
unique sport, and that
yeah,
the strategy that goes behind baseball is so much more difficult. I don't know how coaches do it, especially at a high level, like what Skip Johnson and his whole crew does, and just especially when it comes down to pitchers, because you can only pitch
yeah,
so many times before that arm starts to get a little tired, right? Especially if you're throwing up there in the
exactly.
in the mid 90s. So, yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting. But growing up, who were some of your influence? Maybe like a role model, or maybe
yeah.
even a MLB player that you followed or anything like that.
Yeah, growing up, I would say I'm a pretty well-rounded person. I always try to put myself in situations to be prepared for an opportunity. And so kind of people I looked up to growing up were my uncle, Jason Mercurius. He owns his own business doing like construction management, stuff like that. I was fortunate enough to meet Dexter Fowler my freshman year of high school. So I'd always just bounce ideas off him, ask him questions. And then he got to a point where he was able to kind of take me along with him to some things, like even training. And so I started training with him and then kind of basically set my foundation for like who I was going to train with. So kind of like Dexter Fowler is really who I look up to. My uncle, my dad, obviously my mom, but like just those pretty much like my base of people that I've always just asked questions to, kind of let them help me like grow as a person and just stay real rounded as a person. So yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I love hearing that too. Whenever it's your family, your family, that
yeah,
means a lot to me. So I like hearing that from you too. Um,
yes, sir.
as a top ranked, because you were the top ranked right-handed pitcher out of Nevada, coming out of high school.
Yeah.
When you back yourself up to high school and coming out of that, what were some of the key moments, some of the challenges maybe from high school that you can think of that kind of got you ready for your career and specifically for college baseball?
Yeah. In high school, I was a head case. Can't lie. I was a head case all over the place, wanted to do everything. But I think that in itself was a challenge because I had to teach myself, and I had obviously like my role models there to help me, but I had to teach myself kind of like you got to find like what's important to you, and you got to figure out like when those times in your life get hard, like what are you doing it for? Like what keeps you going? And so in high school, like the rankings were cool, the pitching was fun. But there was a time where like I would be like 88 to 93 or 90, 93, and it was very much so like I couldn't figure out for myself like what even my own self was going to give me that day. And so for me, that was like a challenge just because like when I was 88, 90, I was getting cracked and I was like, oh my God, these dudes are hitting the ball all over the place. Like, what do I need to do? And so I kind of set a foundation of making sure I'm always prepared. And so kind of like what I took that as even now, like what I use is pretty much like watching film or kind of just like watching like film on myself, not even the hitters at that age, because no, you don't really have the scouting report, but watching film, trying to find the right people to ask the right questions to of like, what do you see in my mechanics that I could try to get better at? What in the weight room do I need to be doing? What do I need to be eating? So trying to take care of the overall like I guess the whole player aspect of making sure you're doing the right thing for your body so it's healthy to be able to perform at the highest level you're going to be at. So I kind of just started preparing myself in high school to kind of take that jump into let me get my body right and then let me see what else comes from it. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, I mean, going forward to UNLV, spent a couple of years there, and
Hmm.
I assume you feel like you probably progressed your game and progressed maybe as a man
Yeah.
and kind of growing up and learning the game of college baseball. What do you take away from your time at UNLV, and what kind of helped you kind of progress as a player and as a person?
Yeah, UNLV was a big piece of me. Coaches decided to keep the local kid home, right? I decided to go there. When I first stepped on campus, as almost every freshman, college freshman thinks you think you're big dog on campus, like, ooh, I'm the top ranked this, top ranked that. But no, like they definitely taught me that like baseball in college is a team sport. You need to be able to rely on your teammates and need to be able to rely on you. And so pretty much kind of like the big thing UNLV taught me when I first got there was how to be a good teammate. Because like growing up, we always play on different summer ball teams. We're on a big showcases. There's never really that team aspect of things. And when you get to college, it really shapes you into like you need to be a team player. And so I would say like that really helped me personally, just because like I was kind of struggling my freshman year to kind of find like my people and find like who I was just off the field. And so having my teammates there for support, my coach is always there helping me like look at like just go do these activities, see like have fun. And so just them being there for me was huge for my development as a person. Being able to learn like what being a good teammate is and what it should look like, and then how much more fun you could have. And then really the big thing he taught me was I have to have fun. I try to overcomplicate complicate the game sometimes, and so I get really down. But this year our pitching coach Jeff Obolewski before every game he was like, "Who cares about what the mechanics are? Who cares who the batter is? Who cares anything? Just have fun, smile, like just enjoy being out there." And so that kind of was like my big thing I did this year, and it worked. So that's kind of what I'm trying to continue doing is just remind myself just have fun and remember why we play this, which is a
Yeah.
game. So let's have fun playing the game. So yeah.
Yeah, and going forward, obviously entering the transfer portal, looking for a team to, where you wanted to go next. What was something that you kind of looked for that were factors, or did you already have your mind set on Oklahoma
Yeah,
whenever
no.
you entered the transfer portal?
Yeah. OU is big. Like I was definitely thinking about it. I liked Alabama. But one thing that stood out to me was one, the opportunity that I would have to play with my brother. That was huge. Two, we're ranked. I say we are now, but OU is ranked second in getting the most draft picks in the MLB, right? So like my end
You can say
goal,
we.
yeah, we okay,
Yeah,
perfect, perfect.
yeah.
We
You're
we
you're a
were
Sooner,
ranked
man.
second.
Yeah, you're a
Dang,
Sooner.
we were ranked second in the most MLB draft picks. So that's huge. Like at the end of the day, college is fun. You want to have a great time, but my goal is to be in the MLB for 15 years, and then but for that to happen, I have to get my foot in the door. And so OU having that many draft picks, like that says a lot. And so I know Skip's doing a great job. I've talked to Skip a lot. So it's like I know where his mind is, and I know that's somewhere I want to help me in my career at this point. So just having that that just you're second in the country for getting the most picks. Like, come on, dude. Like, that's a great place to be. And Skip, shoot, every year he has at least 4 or 5 dudes that are getting drafted in a pretty good round and or getting their name called at some point. So that's something that definitely was a big factor for me when I was deciding if I really wanted to come or was I just coming for my brother. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
having that there and being able to play with my brother was like a really big thing for me that really attracted OU a little bit more than some of the other schools. So yeah.
Yeah, and Oklahoma, it's interesting too because you came with your brother Alex. Does he go
Mhm.
by Alex or Alexander?
He goes by, I don't even know, man. Alexander Xander, one of those two.
I'll have to ask him what he wants
Yeah.
me to call him. So, anyways, you came to Oklahoma with him. I'm sure you saw in this past season and into the draft, Oklahoma just sent two brothers who were both pitchers,
Yep.
Kyson and Malachi Witherspoon, off both in the first and second round, which is huge. Again, going to
Yeah.
that point. And then on
Awesome.
top of that too, not only do they kind of have that family tradition, you've got Eli Willits who just got drafted, and Jackson Willits is on the team. You
Yep.
got Reggie is his father. So I mean, there's all kinds of ties just on the baseball side alone. You jump over to
Yeah.
football. There's brothers in football, all over the place. They just
Yep.
recruited two new brothers. They had two brothers in the in the running back room. One of them hit the transfer portal, and then of course they got two brothers on the defensive side of the
Yeah.
ball, and Peyton and Eli Bowen. I mean, there's brothers all over the place,
Yeah. No, it's
and so
awesome.
it's yeah, it's good to hear that from you. It's a fun story too.
Yeah.
But then on top of
100%.
that, you mentioned Oklahoma having so many draft picks. I don't know if you kept up with this year's draft and saw what
Yeah.
Oklahoma was able to do, but just yesterday, I mean, yesterday and then into today, just in
Hmm.
the first 4 rounds alone, their entire weekend rotation was
Yeah.
drafted, and so that's
Yeah.
really big. And obviously with Skip Johnson, he's got his reputation of knowing how to work pitchers and get
Yeah.
them playing really at the top of their game. Can you share anything that Skip and the rest of the coaching staff maybe had discussions with you that really influenced you to come to Oklahoma?
Yeah. I think the wide open rotation does help, right? Keeping the
Yeah,
starter, keeping the same role. So, that was really like a big thing. For me was making sure I could keep my starter role in some capacity. So really just going out there and earn a spot, is huge. But, really it's just kind of like when it came down to Skip, was he's not just about the metrics. Like I'm not a big metrics guy. I really don't care. Do I get outs or not? That's how I roll. And then Skip introduced kind of like the mental game, where I've been trying to want to expand a little bit. And so, we really just were hammering like the overall aspect of just being a pitcher. Like there's more than to it than just throwing strikes. Like you got to be able to reset every pitch and get to the next one. And so that's kind of like what we kind of talk about a little bit more on the mental side. But the open rotation on the weekend, so going there and earn a spot really was a really big factor for me when I was looking at schools because I believe I'm a starter. My stuff plays better as a starter, so that was huge.
yeah, and that's confidence too. That's exactly what I'm
Yeah,
sure Skip saw in you, and so I'm sure.
yeah,
And one thing that I've heard Skip say to his guys, I've heard him say it in different press meetings that we have after the games, is he'll notice that maybe a pitcher's, even Kyson, he'll say, I feel like there's times where he's out there and he's trying to punch a guy out, and he walks out to the mound and just tells him, hey. You know where the strike zone is. Just put it on the mark and see you're right. I think he's
yeah,
he's less about the metrics and how to get there, more like like you said, kind of. There's a lot of things that I think he goes through that kind of helps you mentally, and I think the mental game is pretty big in the sport of baseball, but
yeah.
especially as a pitcher, right?
100%. We're on an island out there, dude. Like
Yeah,
it's just us. So we don't have someone out there to talk to in between pitches, and the game starts with us and ends with us. So you gotta
yeah.
gotta be locked
It's
in.
it's similar to a quarterback too. If you lose, you're the one that that gets blamed for it. That
Yeah,
win loss record usually goes on most of the time the starting pitcher, not always, but
yeah,
that does
yeah.
fall on the pitcher. And so that's definitely the case. With Oklahoma transitioning to the SEC, obviously this would be their second season into the SEC.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to most about competing in that conference? Is there any specific teams or maybe something
Um,
special about that conference that draws you in?
I think really it's like the SEC is the SEC. Like the name says enough, right? It's like the top of the players, the cream of the
Yeah,
crop. That's where I want to be. I think Oklahoma being in this our second year is even huge because like we've had a lot of Vegas people come to Oklahoma. Like it's been scattered. One of my pitching coaches growing up, Evan Grusol, came to Oklahoma and he's always talked about like the culture, the fan base, and like how they're training on the right program. And even like when I got on campus when I first talked to Skip, it was like I could feel the energy of them wanting to take over the SEC like they did the Big 12. And so really, even though it's like our second season in the SEC, I kind of have that same feeling of this team that they're bringing in with the pitching side and the team that they already have on the hitting side and keeping it together and meshing it is like they're trending in that direction, especially after making it to a regional. Like that's huge. So that means we're close just by their first year. And so my big thing is like, especially after seeing some of the hitters, I just came back from USA like 2 weeks ago now, and like seeing the hitters that are in the SEC, like I feel like that's where I want to be to really see where my ability plays. And because I kind of got a glimpse of it at USA, it was good, had good results. So I want to see like what it's like to be actually go out there day in day out and see those hitters every day in the SEC. Because like the way I think about it is iron sharpens iron, right? Like all these are all the best dudes in the country. So let's just make each other better and just keep on fighting. And if we win or we lose, like either way, you're still making yourself better by going out there and competing against the top of the best of the best, basically. So I'm just really excited just to finally compete against the cream of the crop. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you're right too. The name says everything about the SEC. I mean, they just had the most draft picks again in this draft. The SEC won the national championship this past season. I mean, it's a very deep conference, and I think people and fans outside of the SEC hate to hear SEC people saying that, but once Oklahoma joined, in every sport, you see it. You see just how much it really means to the fans, the organization, the players, the coaches, everybody. And so, yeah, you're right. I think coming to the end of the SEC, it's definitely a really good step for you too. I think that's it shows that hey, you're one of the best too, because you get to go and compete with those guys too. So, that's definitely something special. But talking about beyond baseball, everybody knows. You as a baseball player, but outside of baseball, I know you mentioned golf being one. Is there any hobbies you have? Anything you like to do whenever you're off the field?
Yeah, shoot. Golf for sure. Love golf. I'd say I like fishing. I've been talking to Skip about trying to get me hunting. I want to go hunting really bad. We don't have hunting in Vegas, but we have fishing. I love fishing.
Yeah.
I like riding horses. One of my buddies has a ranch, so we went up there and rode some horses. But I'm a little country coming from Vegas. I just like the outdoors, chill. But I'd say golf, fishing, and I want to try hunting. But golf and fishing are really my two big things I like to do. I still got my little city side, so I like Lulu, so I go shopping at Lulu. But really, that's really about it.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have some things that kind of keep you occupied off the field, and some hobbies to kind of keep you grounded and everything. Looking ahead in your time at Norman, is there anything, a specific goal or anything that you set for your time at Norman at Oklahoma that you want to be able to reach for yourself?
Really, just personal goals. I'm a competitor, so really the big thing is kind of just first day we get on campus is go earn a spot. Obviously that's not how it works, but just keep pushing myself in the right direction to earn a spot. And then besides that, it's really just enjoy the time here. Enjoy the time with my brother. Enjoy the time with the team. A lot of my friends are on the team, so being able to play with them again finally. But really just enjoy every moment. I feel like this is a big crucial point in my life as a player, going into draft year. So just kind of enjoying every moment if I don't have the chance next year. But really just have fun getting down to nitty gritty with the boys and see what happens. That's really about it. But the goal is just go win a spot and have fun.
Yeah. You can't get too much more particular than that. But LJ, I want to tell you thank you so much for joining me on here. I'm sure Sooner Nation will be excited to hear from you. But you have yourself a good rest of your night.
Nah, thank you. You too.
Hey Sooner fans, did you enjoy this video? Well, go ahead and hit that like button and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. What are you doing if you've made it this far and haven't already? You should be able to find that subscribe button over here. And then if you want to see full episodes, we've got those up here and clips right down here. So go check that out. But we thank you all so much for all the love, all the support. We'll catch you next time. Boomer.